Blog Talk Radio.
Time for Sports Card Live. With Sports Card Radio's Ryan Cheddars, Colin Cheddars, MojoBreak.com's Dan Anderson, and your host, Doug Caskey. Dig it.
Pack Rippers and Sports Nuts, welcome to another episode of Sports Card Live. It's exciting. We're back. I'm joined by Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Just chilling, man. You know, we got another, it's that time again. This episode, we're going to talk NT baseball coming out tomorrow. We're going to talk 2012 Topps Supreme. It's a really exciting time in our hobby. It seems like it's been a couple weeks since we've had two major releases come out, and two hit-heavy releases are coming out tomorrow, so we're going to see forums abuzz, Twitter being hit up with photos. Have you seen any of the early previews of any of these products?
I've seen some of the preview photos. I thought I saw somewhere mention that some of the National Treasure cards might have been on eBay already, or maybe a few, so I'll probably be checking out tonight to see what is out there of Supreme and National Treasures.
Definitely. Yeah, it looks like somebody in Taiwan already got some of the product, which I don't, those guys can get it a couple days before us anyway. This episode, we're also going to review Elite NBA. Dan's going to join us here shortly, and we're going to kind of give a little review of Elite NBA. We're also going to talk hockey with Wild Eagle, our resident hockey expert. He's going to talk about some of the rookies and some of the products and stuff. We'll have a little hockey discussion, and, we're going to talk all these hobby rumblings and things like that. Did you catch any of the UFC fights over the weekend?
I did not catch. Was that pay-per-view, or was it like on the Fox or something?
It wasn't pay-per-view, and it was the first women's title championship, and Ronda Rousey was the big headliner. And, the reason I don't get too many pay-per-views, I try to follow some of the videos and things like that, but I happened to be in Reno over the weekend, and Kara Moosh, I'm probably saying her name wrong, was a 10-1 dog, and so I took the bet on her because 10-1 in a fight usually doesn't happen. But Rousey armbarred her, and she's actually 7-0 now. She's armbarred everybody in the first round.
Wow.
So some may say one-trick pony, but everybody's fallen into her little armbar right away. I mean, she's never gotten out of the first round, and there was 11 seconds left in the first round, and Scaramouche tapped. So
that's pretty crazy, man. Sounds like a tough girl.
Yeah, and she's actually not bad looking. You would think, most UFC women fighters would be, missing some teeth and, long and lanky, but she's actually, not bad on the eyes, kind of like a Gina Carano type. And, her cards are already spiking, and Bloodlines, UFC Bloodlines has her auto, so does Finest, and some of her cards are jumping way up there. I mean, like $500-$600 for certain autos.
Wow, that's great.
So good to see some, interest back in UFC. Not that there was any lack of interest, but, compared to the four major sports, there's maybe not as many collectors for UFC. So, maybe that'll change. But it's pretty cool cards. We busted a box of UFC Bloodlines yesterday, and you got fight mat relics. I mean, there's a lot more things they could do with memorabilia. There's a lot more colors in their, shorts and things like that. And they had some set had like mouth guard relics, so there's a lot of different things that you can do with the UFC.
Nice.
But I wanted to introduce you as far as like what you collect. We never really talk about what we collect, Ryan, and what kind of things are in your PC these days as far as card collecting.
Cheap stuff. Like I was a ball boy when Michael LeCandy, who was the number one pick, I think back in 96, 97 for the LA Clippers. When he was in college, I was the ball boy for his college team.
Nice.
And so, I kind of watched him kind of progress. When he got to University of Pacific, he didn't really know how to play basketball. So it was kind of amazing that he kind of came in and was averaging like 2 points and 3 rebounds, and then all of a sudden he was like a 25 and 15 guy by his senior year. So I collect his autographs, which are very affordable, sometimes less than $1. So I collect those. Prospect stuff. I mean, he's considered kind of a bust in the NBA because he was the number 1 pick and really didn't do a whole lot. So, but I saw him when he was great in college, so I collect his autographs and try to get stuff of him. And then prospect guys that I see, Oakland A's prospects, even though I'm a Giants fan, I see a lot of A's prospects. So I collect cards of them, autographs. I have a lot of game-used memorabilia. I have about 5 game-used, full-size minor league baseball jerseys from the last 2 or 3 years. I have some batting gloves, game-used batting gloves, signed, everything signed.
Nice.
Lots of nice minor league stuff from some decent prospects. I try to buy like at least guys that are somewhat decent, but I've got some really nice jerseys.
I remember you telling me a story. Maybe you could share about Ricky Henderson at a Ports game and his jersey, right? Wasn't his jersey up for auction that night? His jersey.
Yeah, because he was they were wearing special jerseys. They do this several times during the year, and this is how I get my jerseys. They run an auction during the game, and you win the jersey of the guys wearing, and they have all the coaches. And Ricky Henderson comes and coaches about 3 or 4 times a year, and I've like passively tried to talk to him, I think once or twice, and he's he keeps to himself and stuff most of the time. Anyway, so I'm like, well, cool, I'm going to win Ricky Henderson's jersey, autographed jersey one night. And I think I got up to about 300 or so before I was like, well, forget this. So I won somebody else's jersey. I can't remember whose jersey I won. But I got to go out on the field and kind of meet Ricky Henderson anyways. So Ricky's standing there like, he's like, who won this jersey? Who won this jersey? They're going to give me the money for this jersey. I should get a check for this jersey and all this stuff. And the guy that won it kind of came up to him and was like, Ricky was like, hey, you going to let me keep this, the jersey? And the guy was like, yeah, as long as you take a picture with me. And this guy had spent like $500-$600 to win this jersey. I think Ricky
was serious about this.
He was dead serious. Yeah, Ricky's dead serious, like, all the time. And Ricky looks great. Ricky looks like he could still play. Probably
still trying to play.
Yeah, he works out before the game. I see him running the hills and stuff. And one time I told him that. I was like, dude, you look like you could still play. And he kind of looked at me and was like, yeah. He was like, he was just kind of like messing around. So he's in town like 3 or 4 different times a year. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of cool.
He must have thought that money was his, and he was just like, shoot, time up.
Exactly, $500. That's a good day's work right there.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky came from those days where they, really didn't, have those big $1 million contracts and stuff in the early '80s. So I mean, I wouldn't know if he still has a whole lot of money. I mean, I'm sure he does a lot of appearances and coaching and stuff like that. He makes money on and tops autographs and Panini autographs and stuff. But that's funny, man. That's a good story. Yeah, I knew you collected a lot of that memorabilia from the ports and things like that. You get up to San Jose a little bit for the San Jose Giants too, as well, right?
I go to Modesto a lot. I go to Modesto maybe like 10 times because the Rockies team, the Nuts, have a stadium that's about 25 minutes from me that I get to about 10 games a year down there, and then I have season tickets to the Stockton Ports, which is the A's minor league affiliate, which is right up the street from my house. So I'm trying to go to about 100 games this year with the fall league and about 65 to 70 Ports games that I'll make it to. So I'm going to try to do 100. I've been to a few college games already, seen some MLB draft prospects for 2013. Already got video of them and stuff. So I'm just kind of checking some guys out, and I enjoy baseball a lot.
Nice. Well, I stumbled upon this article. I know it's not no secret, but Bloody Sock, Curt Schilling's Bloody Sock, the Bloody Sock from the World Series, sold for $92,000. I mean, that's just
wow.
Can you imagine what you could buy for $92,000? Instead, you got a nice stock to just. I mean, how would you even display that? Are you going to get like a picture frame and put it right up above your mantle there, right above the fireplace? I mean, well, I don't even know how you would display a bloody sock. I mean, I wonder if it's autographed. It doesn't say that it is. That's just a crazy piece of memorabilia there.
That's interesting. I think I even saw some people who were following the auction on Twitter, or they were like following the auction and kind of talking about it on Twitter. I think they even said that was even kind of low, that they thought it was going to sell for even more than $90,000, which I think is quite a bit of money for. But the Red Sox fans are crazy, and that kind of that was kind of the dawn of a new era for the Red Sox nation. That game for Schilling in that season, so. That's real interesting. It's really $90,000. That's a good chunk of change.
Maybe I can just bloody my stock during a break, and I'll put it on eBay and see if I can get. I'll be happy with $500.
You might get $9, maybe.
Break worn bloody sock.
Man, that might be it's gonna be a tough sell. It's gonna have to be an expensive pair of socks.
Maybe I'll get some Gucci socks. It'll up the ante,
I think, yeah, you could, a bloody pair of Gucci socks you might get $10 for.
Give me an extra $1.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure I have a ton of, when I'm breaking cards and I have to sneeze, I go to the old sleeve technique because I don't want to get them on the cards. I wonder if I can, cut that sleeve off, put that up there, and it'd be like a DNA relic or something. Maybe Ginter, maybe Toss will put me in a set.
Wow, that's really reaching.
How many years off are we from breaker worn memorabilia? I mean, I don't know. Maybe we're looking at 2016 Allen and Ginter.
You guys should all get together. You guys should all get together and create your own set.
Yeah.
And I'll put up a checklist and I'll promote it and all that stuff. And we'll interview everybody. You all could get game reviews like memorabilia and just like it could like have your story on the back and stuff. Like that's a couple years off, but something to think about.
Bumos would probably have the highest selling relic in there. You could probably get like something from his bird.
There you go. There you go. There's I'm right there.
Thinking outside the box here, Just
get them on board. Get them on board. I'll promote it. I'll be the hype man.
Yeah, exactly. And we'd see how much we can get him to sign sticker autos for those relics. I don't. He probably would want a lot. He'd be like the Axl Rose of the set, but we might be able to pull him in. So.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be worth it. I think he's worth it. I think we got to commit.
Yeah, Breakers Series 1 coming to a hobby store near you. Coming to a thrift store near you. Just kidding. Speaking of other gross memorabilia, there's a couple different things on this little. This is courtesy of Bleacher Report, but some of these astounding sales. There was a Tom Seaver used toothpick from when he was on the Mets. It sold in 1992 for $440. It was, I guess people will pay anything. And, I mean, the Bill Buckner ball that went through his legs in the 1986 World Series sold for more than $400,000. So that one, the infamous under the leg ball there. There's Jeff Nelson's bone fragments. Most of you are like, who's Jeff Nelson? In 2007, he was a reliever for the Mariners, and apparently he had surgery, and he had some bone fragments. He put it on eBay, and the auction was past $20,000. But they canceled it because you can't sell body parts on eBay. Apparently, it's in their rules. Well, there goes me cutting off my finger putting it on eBay. But he sold it privately for $2,000. So somebody's got Jeff Nelson bone fragments in their collection. Ty Cobb's teeth sold for $8,000 in 1991 to a dentist's daughter. That actually seems kind of low for a Ty Cobb. A Ty Cobb relic auto these days sells for more than that. Somebody got his whole set of dentures.
That's a deal right there. Ty Cobb's teeth for $8,000. I mean, there we go. That's an investment right there.
Seriously, I don't know if it's authenticated, but maybe Panini can contact them and get. I mean, if there's a whole set of teeth there, they can make like 30 cards out of it or something, 40, 50 cards.
Oh, that would be interesting. Teeth relics. Wow.
I don't know how sanitary that. They probably have to boil the teeth or do something before they put it in the card.
I mean, Upper Deck does those like fossil relic things, but that's an animal, an extinct animal. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep here, but I was about to go deep right there. But anyways, yeah, Ty-Cobb's teeth. But for $8,000, if you had that kind of money and you love Ty-Cobb or a dentist fan or whatever, I mean, there we go.
Well, there's that show on. I think it's on Sci-Fi. I don't know if you've ever run across it. It's called Oddities. Have you ever run across the show at all?
I'll have to check it out. I've never seen it.
It's a pawn shop. Well, not a pawn shop. It's just a shop that has just these weird things. Like they have a lot of taxidermy, like weird taxidermy, and people come in and spend like thousands of dollars to get like a 3-headed pig, like taxidermy. Because it's so rare to have a pig with like 3 heads, or they'll buy like old like mortician gear. Like Jonathan Davis from Korn actually went in there and wanted to collect, like he collects more old mortician stuff. It's really kind of I was kind of perturbed by the show to start off when I first started watching it, but it was just really interesting because it was different, But that kind of goes on along the same subject of gross memorabilia. They have pretty much a whole shop tailored to gross memorabilia, and they have their own TV show now, so they must have been doing something right.
Hey, whatever floats your, hey, whatever you want to spend your money on, do it.
Yeah,
do it.
Exactly.
Entertain yourself.
Yeah. Round out just the gross memorabilia. There was a Luis Gonzalez chewed bubble gum that sold for $10,000 in 2002 to a gum manufacturer. There was and this is the most weird one to me. Granted, it was one of the biggest games he ever pitched in, but Nolan Ryan's jockstrap sold for $25,000, but it was when he pitched his record-setting and final no-hitter. So, maybe the socks, the cleats, the hat, his undershirt, they were all taken already, and, they had to get that last little bit of dollar bills out of something. I don't know what the theory is behind it. Somebody must be happy. And then the last one, Art Modell's toilet, former Cleveland Brown owner, sold his personal toilet from the suite for $2,700. So there you go.
Wow.
That's the gross memorabilia section of the show, which reoccurs once every 3 years. Did you catch any of the Daytona 500 with Danica?
No, I did not. I meant to. I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was at a baseball game that afternoon, so I did not see any of the race.
Yeah, she didn't win. Obviously, she had the pole position, so that was the big draw. But there was a funny little thing with Erin Andrews at the Daytona 500, and she's interviewing some of the people at Daytona, and 50 Cent walks up. So she's like, "Hey, 50 Cent, what do you think about the race?" And as he leans in, he tries to kiss her, and she she just awkwardly just backs away. And you can see it on YouTube. It's pretty hilarious on him just kind of leaning in and her just like kind of casually turning her cheek so that he doesn't even get the cheek at all.
Oh, wow, that takes some guts right there. I
mean,
I can't blame him. I cannot blame him for trying. So
he's all in the club. I have that hit back in the 98 in the club. Remember me, 50 Cent.
There we go. Hey, hit it up.
Gotten some stories here. Pistol Pete Maravich is coming back to Panini products. He's actually not been in a whole lot of products, and he died at an early age. I believe he was 40 when he passed away. And Panini's going to be just announced on Monday that they're going to be making more memorabilia cards of the legend. So he's going to be in some future upcoming products. and I guess they secured, it looks like, about 15 certified autographs, so all cuts. So he doesn't actually have a whole lot of autographs out there. So those should pretty much fly off the shelf. I mean, those will garner a lot on eBay for a nice Pistol Pete autograph. So, and he's got the NCAA scoring record with an average of 44.2 points a game. Just a legend that doesn't have a lot of cards out there. So kind of like Clemente with baseball. They didn't have a lot of Clemente stuff until recently. They kind of introduced them back in, and it's nice to have these guys that that you don't normally see back in sets.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's great when the families are like, whether it's a monetary thing or they're just ready to give up some items or something or whatever that they have. I think it's great to have people like Pete Maravich and old school legends in products like basketball and all the sports, really. Anytime you're mixing, all these products are so rookie heavy and rookie driven. It's just great when they're able to add value by getting some of these legends cut product, even if they're hard to get. I think it still adds value to have a Maravich and those type of people.
Definitely. Now, do you think that that brings up a good question? We just actually pulled a cut auto yesterday in our limited break, and it was Bob Waterfield for the Rams. He's an old quarterback back in the 50s. I think he won one of the first championships for the Rams. That brings up a question, like, where do they get those checks? Do the banks save those? Or, because you see them pop up all the time, and a lot of the cut autos are from checks.
It could very well be. I know a lot of the auction houses, Heritage Auctions, Huggins and Scott, those type of kind of sports memorabilia auction houses, they oftentimes have good percentage of their auctions are signed checks, signed canceled checks from so and so. I've even seen big, huge lots of them, like a team payroll kind of thing, like where you get 55 Eagles checks or whatever, one big old lot and stuff in some of these auctions. So I think, there must be some way that these get out onto the market somehow, and they're going to have value if they have, and a lot of times the signatures are really nice on these checks. So I think, if they can get them and it's legal, which I'm assuming it all is, I would get them and put them into cut products because I think that's really, really a good thing for collectors.
Yeah, I just often wondered if they if the bank, like Frank Sinatra or something comes in, they know, he's in there, or somebody cashes a check from Frank Sinatra or, some big name, if the bank, knows, they keep it, or, maybe this guy cashes a check every month from Frank Sinatra or something, and they keep these checks just knowing later on they're going to be, worth value. It's kind of an interesting, kind of a little portion of the hobby of where these checks come from. Maybe we can get one of these guys on from Panini, or Tracy can answer where they acquire some of these things from.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So I saw on, and I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I saw, we were talking about this off air, Topps Twitter account, Topps support Twitter account has been closed for whatever reason. I don't know if they're going to just release another Topps support Twitter account, or they're going to do away with it in general, but there's a couple posts on Blowout Cards that were a couple pages deep already that they were, kind of mentioning the fact that they closed their Twitter account, and Topps is kind of infamous for not having the most amazing customer service in the world. So it's kind of an interesting move to close that Twitter account. I'm just wondering maybe if this is a step in the right direction, if they're actually going to have a dedicated phone line that they have more people on so you don't have to go through Twitter. What are your thoughts?
I think it's a bad sign. Unless it's a temporary thing, it could very well be some kind of temporary thing, or it could pop back up in the next couple days. Who knows? They haven't said anything about it. I know several people, including myself, kind of jokingly mentioned or kind of jumped into a conversation with them about it, but they didn't say anything about it, mention it directly, the Topps Twitter account. But yeah, their Topps support Twitter account no longer active. That's not good. It doesn't seem like a good situation. If you go to their Facebook page too, there's a lot of people who complain about customer-related issues And that's probably to be expected. You could probably go to Panini's too, and you're going to see some customer-related posts as well, unhappy customers and stuff. But I don't know. I know my brother kind of championed kind of ragging on Topps. This was several months ago. This was going back into last year, and took some heat for it. And I don't know. From the way things have gone and the things that I've observed, I don't think their customer service has got better. I think people are not afraid to call them out a little more about it as well. I don't know, for whatever reason. So I think it's an ongoing issue that, and this certainly isn't a positive step. I think some people in that forum thread were even saying that, well, that was the only way I could contact Topps. Because if you call them, the odds of you getting a live person, it depends how long you want to stay on hold. And so, it's a tough situation. Anytime you see a company with poor customer service, that's not good. That's not a good sign. Yeah. So I've seen this with other companies. It's not a good sign when the customer service goes down the tubes.
Well, what's strange is if they had some kind of other plan on what they were going to do with a separate Twitter account, or they're going to create a new Twitter account, like, wouldn't they have let people know, like, far enough advance? That's what's weird about the whole situation. Wouldn't they say, like, if it was me and I had, like, if I was going to move Mojo Buric's Twitter account to something, I would, like, 5 days before, I'd say, hey, in 5 days, we're going to move the Twitter account to here. And then, like, 3 days left, I'd say, we'll move the Twitter account to here, just let you guys know, or contact us here. And then the day of, hey, 2 hours, we're changing it. It's like they had I'm going through their Twitter right now, unless I missed something, and if I do, I apologize. I don't see anything saying, hey, this is going away or what. Maybe they got hacked too, who knows. But, it's just, and even Topps Company, which I think there's 3 or 4 people that run both Topps Cards and Topps Sports, so they do double dip. They're not saying anything about it on their own on regular Topps Cards. At Topps Cards, there's nothing being said about Topps support being inactive or something happening to it. So I really don't know the situation, but I know that like you said, their customer support. More often than not, I see 12-1 on complaints versus positive feedback, and it's not great. That's not good at all. It's something that they need to definitely address. Maybe they're just resting on their laurels and they don't care, but it's going to eventually, the tides are going to turn on them if they don't, start responding to some of these people. And there's some outlandish people that are unreasonable in their requests. We get that in any, any industry. There's people that just, you can't please them, and I understand that, but it just doesn't seem like they're even trying in some aspects. Because I told you guys about my experience. I'm really fighting for case breakers out there, that when we get missing hits, one missing hit's fine, but when we get a case that's missing a ton of hits, we really can't have replacement hits for the customers. It just doesn't work. Like, they need to have something in place for case breakers. That they can look at all of our purchases from our distributors and see how much product we buy and things like that. If we're missing 3 hits out of a case, why can't you send us a box? Then we can open it back up and the excitement of the group break can happen again, as opposed to sending us replacement hits that aren't in sleeves, that are in top loaders, that aren't even in a bubble mailer, and that, it's like, oh, I got to show you this $5 hit. You never see anybody getting like a Bryce Harper out of those replacement hits. It's always a $4 or $5 guy that they have a plethora of. So it needs to change. It's,
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Yeah, because I know they've kind of revamped their website and so forth, but I've tried to call quite a few different times, just randomly, not any kind of issue that I had on my own end. I kept hearing how hard it was to get through to them and so forth, so I would just sit down and call every day and try to get through. I think one time I got through out of about 4 or 5. I tried to call for a whole entire week, top. Yeah. It just, it's not good. And then you try to email, it's the same process. And then it just becomes a backlog of complaints and little issues of damaged cards and missing hits and so on and so forth, and redemption cards that are 2.5 years old. It just snowballs onto itself, and it becomes like a backlog. And if nobody at the company is dealing with it, or they have a very limited staff dedicated to customer service, that's when it becomes a huge issue. Because you have now a mountain of emails and phone calls and issues that you have to deal with, and there's no structure in place to take care of it. And that's a big problem when you're a company like Topps, who sells a very cheap product, and it's going into a lot of different hands, and you're coming out with product monthly. I mean, there's new product being issued monthly. So, and a lot of, by and large, a lot of people do collect this stuff from all their product lines, baseball, football, all their little confection products. So it's a problem. I mean,
the problem doesn't lie in their product. Their product is fine. I mean, there is we review and complain about certain aspects just because that's what we need to talk about something, but the problem lies in the customer service, and they, unfortunately, there's not going to be enough people, and myself included, that are going to go buy. Well, we buy everything anyway, but we're not going to. We can't say, hey, we're not going to do Topps because they make baseball. I mean, baseball cards are what sells the most. Prospects have so much value. They're relic. I mean, it's just you're not going to sway away from that, and I don't know if that's in their heads. They just know that people are going to still buy anyway, regardless of what they do. I mean, it's a sad way to think, but I hope not.
Yeah. I hope that's not the case, that it is just a staffing issue, it's a leadership issue, it's a company structure kind of issue, and that it's not just total complacency and kind of ignoring the customer. That's not right. That's not right. And when
I did telemarketing. I mean, and this is in California. I mean, I was a 20-year-old guy telemarketing. I mean, I was working for $10 an hour plus commission on whatever I'd sold over the phone. I mean, I'm sure you could probably pay wherever Pennsylvania. You could pay somebody $13 an hour, and you can get like 7 on staff. You know what I'm saying? And they're just answering the phones, getting out emails, and people competent. It's just, I don't know how many people they have on staff, and maybe that's where the issue does lie, is not enough staffing to handle what they have going on.
Yeah. Well, I'll be roasting them at the Las Vegas Industry Summit, March, 16th through the 20th or something, or the 17th through the 20th. Every single Topps guy that gets up and starts talking about how great their products are, I'll be raising my hand and asking them about customer service-related issues, specific redemption cards, things like that, the whole process. What is the process? Who are the faces of the customer service department? What's being done in that regard? So I'll be putting my life on the line, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And, some of the, New York companies, mafia connections. So I'm going to go in there with my Kevlar and ask some serious questions and try to get some answers. So what the hell is going on?
Exactly. And believe me, we don't want to talk about this. We want to make the experience better. And if there's enough voices out there that are complaining and saying, hey, this needs to change, at some point it will have to change. So that's the whole point of this little rant here that got us all fired up. So, and we've both experienced it firsthand, especially on the case breaking end with us. And I know you get emails from collectors, so it's not just an isolated incident. It happens way too often, so it just needs to... It's not
isolated. It is not isolated. I've gotten numerous emails from different people, different issues, different walks of life. It's just, it's a problem that has been brewing. And with the Topps support account disappearing last night, supposedly, this just kind of continues the string of negativity related to customers.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I said, we hope all the best as well, and we hope it changes. And hopefully, Ryan's a good voice for it, because he's not – you have a site dedicated to collectors. You're not partial to any company. I mean, unfortunately with us, I can't stop buying their products. So, I don't want to say, you know, I have no balls, but I have to buy their products. So I can't just say, hey, I'm not going to buy your product anymore. Or you have a great voice and a great forum out there for collectors, and they, you know, you don't care if Topps is, you know, you want to make it a better end user experience for the collector, and that's, you know, you put up checklists, you have all the news on your site and stuff. So, you know, hopefully
that's my number one priority. Collectors, information for collectors, making the hobby more accessible, making more people collect. And obviously, if more people are collecting and on the internet and buying things online, I probably personally benefit from that. So for me, it's all about the collectors. The companies themselves, some of those guys are nice guys and stuff, but you know, they're not paying my bills. So I could care less. These companies come and go. Employees of these companies come and go routinely. The thing that stays the same are the people who are dedicated to this hobby, buying cards, been collecting since the 90s, been collecting since the 1980s, whatever it is. Return to the hobby after years of taking time. Those are the people who are important because they're the ones buying this stuff. They're the ones spending their hard-earned money on this stuff. And that's, you know, that's who I try to cater to the most, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And just to close it out with Topps, bro, if you guys are listening, which you probably aren't, but just your products are great. I love all your prospect stuff. Your football products have been good this year, but, you know, just customer service so that we can all get those mail days from you. And I'm going to use this clip again. We can all say, show time up with that excitement, you know?
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to the next segment. We're going to bring Andrew in, Wild Eagle, at Wild Eagle on Twitter. We're going to talk some hockey. He's going to enlighten us on some products, some rookies, you know, what he thinks about this shortened hockey season. So we're gonna bring him on right now. What's up, Andrew?
Not much. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, man. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Been busy, but that's always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you, in terms of hockey, what have you been collecting lately?
This year with the shortened season and sort of the lack of hockey products, I wasn't really buying a ton of stuff. I did quite a few certified boxes just because it was a sort of a mid-range product where you could still get some nice hits. And I find it's a nice product out of Panini for just that sort of, if you're trying to collect a set, you can do the set collecting but still get some really cool hits out of it.
Definitely. Yeah, and they've got some definite nice inserts in that product and, you know, just an overall pretty good value in that product. So what are some of you guys that are standing out so far? I know we're still kind of young in the season. I know it is a shortened season, but what's some of the guys that you would say to invest in, you know, maybe second-year guys and some of the rookies that are starting to come out?
Well, because this year is sort of a strange year and the NHLPA decided to tell the card manufacturers that they weren't allowed to create any rookie cards of the guys skating this year. It's sort of tough. Like if you're looking for rookie cards that are out there right now, Kreider has been the big rookie for the New York Rangers, but he hasn't been doing as well this season as what he started out with last season. So I think his card value is dropping a little bit just because he hasn't been doing as much. He got sent down to the AHL for a little bit, but now he's back with the big club again because of injuries. So he's kind of a tough one. And then the other guy from the Flames is Sven Barchi, who, again, is one of those guys he really took off at the end of last season and then sort of disappeared a little bit, got injured, and now he's just starting to come back again. But really good guy to watch because I think his cards are going to continue going up in value.
Nice. Out of head-to-head between the two, I know there's ITG, but it isn't licensed, but out of the two manufacturers that have released product this year between Upper Deck and Panini, which company have you liked their cards the most so far?
Well, you guys know I'm a fairly big fan of Panini. I really like their products. I've been collecting all of their products this past couple of years. Upper Deck, however, does the National Hockey Card Day, and they just had their National Hockey Card Day in Canada, and then a week later did it in the U.S. And while I was out there doing that, if you buy an Upper Deck product, you get a special 16th card. So I bought a box of SB Game Used, And when I opened up that box of SP Game Used, I was freaking blown away by it. Like, I was with a buddy of mine, and the two of us each opened up a box of it, and we ended up buying a box at each place that we went to. And some of the cards we pulled out were just phenomenal. And I think they finally, Upper Deck had been sort of losing what they were doing in their specialty, and SB Game Used, I think, has finally brought them back to on par with what Panini's putting out.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, we've done about 4 to 5 boxes of that ourselves at different mixers, and it's definitely gone up in price. I mean, I actually buy from DA on the Upper Deck stuff because the distributors don't sell us Upper Deck product. But the last box that we just did on, I think it was last Friday, that we had actually a game used net, and it was from the Devils, and it was game used in the finals, and it said it was used in games 3, 4, and 6, and I thought that was, it was like a 200-point card with a see-through little window that had, a pretty big size piece of the net, and I thought that was just amazing. I mean, it was floored at the design. I mean, I know it's been done before with the nets, but I was really impressed with the design of that insert set there.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. You know Matt Stewart.
Yeah,
he's done breaks with you guys as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt and I were going around together because we both live in Calgary and we're buddies. So we were going around together. In the one box he opened, he actually got one of the net pieces from Game 3 of the Kings Stanley Cup Final game with Wayne Gretzky dropping the puck.
Oh, wow. That is nice.
So, yeah, so I saw that. That's the first one net card I had seen. And, yeah, the cards like that just blow me away. Like, they're a bit different. You're not used to seeing something like that. And the design that they did on it looked great. So, SB Game Used, I was really impressed with. Again, with Panini, I always like their products, but because of the shortened season and the less cards out there, I'm not too sure what all I'm going to really buy. Like, I've seen the limited a few times, and I was thinking about buying a box here and there, but I'm sort of upset with there not being the rookies in there, and I know that's not the card manufacturer's fault. That's the NHLPA telling them you can't produce them this year.
Yeah, I see that they have those redemptions. I haven't read too much into what they're going to exactly do with them. I know Certified had them. Are they going to basically, is there any kind of timeline on when they're going to announce who are the guys?
Basically, the season, the new season technically starts July 1st with hockey. So what I've heard from both Upper Deck and Panini, where they said is that come July 1st or around about then, they're going to come out with a list, and the rookies will be the rookies that skated this year, because they're then allowed to push out those rookies starting in July because it's technically the start of the new season. So, like Montreal, because I'm a big Habs fan, you guys know that. Galchenyuk is the big rookie for the Habs. So if you've got a Montreal Canadiens redemption card, chances are pretty good it's going to be Galchenyuk.
Yeah.
And then, so those are probably, like I said, probably July, August timeframe is when you're going to start seeing those get shipped out to people.
Are they going to do something similar? I don't know if if you noticed what they did with basketball rookies. Are they going to have some kind of a live draft with that to name the rookies? Or are they just going to say the name?
Panini might do something like that. Upper Deck doesn't really do stuff like that. More than likely, they're just going to put out a blog post saying, okay, these are the rookies, and if you put them in for this team, this is who you're getting.
Yeah.
So,
I'm looking at the future release calendar, and besides Leaf Best of Hockey, which obviously is just a buyback product, there's only ITG Midtown Madness that's coming out, so it doesn't look like there's really anything scheduled for Panini for the rest of this season.
They're talking about maybe doing Dominion again, but because Dominion is one of those later season products, we haven't heard too much about it, and they're fairly tight-lipped about it. I know Upper Deck did release a post which products they were releasing in. SC Authentic, I think, is their last hockey product that they're going to be releasing. They're not doing a Upper Deck Series 2 this year. And
Okay.
Upper Deck Series 1 is a nice product if you're looking for that low-end set collector, because there is the odd hit, but it's not a great hit. It's more you want to collect it just to collect the set, and they've got the young rookies and stuff like that. So,
Right. What did you think about the Panini Classics that came out kind of, I guess it's been like 2 or 3 months ago now. What did you think about them bringing back some of the older players and the original 6?
the Classics is an awesome idea. I'm glad they did that because it brings back not only those old-time players, but also the old teams that have folded and disappeared. It's kind of neat to see those cards again. Like, for me, growing up in the 80s watching hockey, you see the Hartford Whalers and you see that logo and there was just something about it. So seeing those teams come back in a card set was pretty cool. I thought they nailed it really well, and with all the hard signed autos on them, it was great.
Yeah, I must agree. I mean, it was nice. It was just a nice design, and there was very, very few redemptions in the set. And I don't think there was one sticker auto that we got. So out of the 7 or 8 boxes that we've opened now, so I do agree. And then there was the hot boxes that had the 8 autos. So I mean, it's pretty cheap on Blowout now. You can get a box for like $117 on Blowout and probably other internet retailers. So it's pretty good value for its price point. What do you think about some of the ITG stuff? Is there any ITG stuff that's out there worth buying or collecting or anything like that? I know they don't have the license, but what do you think about ITG?
ITG is one of those enigmas that's out there in the collecting industry because they don't have the license, and they actually were approached by the NHLPA this season to see if they wanted to negotiate a license, and they talked back and forth a little bit, and Dr. Price, who's the owner of ITG, turned around and said, no, I'm not going to go with a license with you guys this year. And part of that was because of the lockout, and because he likes to produce all these rookie cards and the cards that he wants to produce, there were too many rules that they were going to put in place on him that he didn't agree with it. So that's why he didn't want that license this year. So ITG is actually the one company that is producing rookie cards for these players that are out this year. And because they don't have the license, some people just don't buy them, and their secondary market price is usually a little lower. Yeah. But in all honesty, I've seen a few breaks of their products, and I've been meaning to go out and buy a couple boxes of the Heroes and Prospects, but every time I go to buy them, something else grabs my eye, and I don't. But Heroes and Prospects is a nice low price. You can probably find it for between $80 and $100. Yep. And the prospect cards that they have are actually the rookie guys that are rookie skaters out there this year. And they have them in 3D. And they actually took the 3D technology and did an amazing job with it. Like, you can't see it in the pictures very well, but if you've got one in your hand, it's absolutely unbelievable as to how they did it.
Yeah, I'm checking some of that out now. So every one of those guys would be on a team. So if a breaker was to do it, they would be able to. There wouldn't be cards of guys that aren't on teams?
No, they're definitely on a team. The big thing is because ITG doesn't have the licenses, they're not allowed to use the team names or the team jersey. Like if the player's wearing a Montreal Canadiens jersey, they wouldn't be able to have that on there. So that what they do is they put them on their junior teams.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I've done some ITG baseball. I don't think they do it anymore, but they had a Heroes and Prospects for baseball, and I thought it was very innovative. They had checks, like, manufactured checks signed, and they had full lumber cards. I mean, it was basically prospects, but it was really nice looking cards, and they all came in top loaders. I don't know if that's similar to some of their hockey sets, but it was like a 5-card. It was called Prospect Hits, and it was just all hits for baseball. It was all autographs, and it was a cool little set.
Yeah, for their high-end products, they really protect their cards. They want to make sure that you're getting good value for for what you're doing. They had one, and now this is a tough product to get a hold of if you can find it. It's called History of Hockey, and I believe it's got 5 cards in it, and the cards are a very value of them. But basically, what you buy the box for, they're pretty much guaranteeing that you will find one card in there that will make that box that valuable. So there's one-of-one art cards that an artist drew right onto the card, but inside that card is also a piece of memorabilia. So, for instance, one that I saw on eBay that went for, I think, $600 or $700 was a Patrick Waugh art card with a piece of his jersey in it.
Huh. That's very interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah, really neat one-of-one type card, and then in that set they also had like a buyback card where they would have like a Wayne Gretzky rookie card, for instance, that they bought and would drop into a box of that and things like that. So it definitely had the value, but they made it a very limited run, and by the time I got to my local card shop, he was completely sold out of it.
Nice. Yeah, maybe we'll have to try to get some for a break. It looks like, I'm looking at it on some of the info here. Yes, 1 pack per box, 4 cards per pack, 1 greatest moments in history hockey card, 1 rookie card, 1 autograph card, and 1 ITG buyback card. So, yeah, it does seem like pretty good value there.
Yeah, really good value, but, again, very tough to track down because they made a very limited run on them. Huh. And I was actually at the card show in Toronto in November, and ITG had their big booth set up there, and Panini had theirs, and Upper Deck had theirs. But in the ITG booth, he actually had some of the cards just sitting there that they were going to be putting into the history of hockey. And he had they were just stupid cards. Like, there was rookie cards from the 1930s that they had bought.
Wow.
And it's like, holy crap, like things that you've never seen in a hockey product, that they turn around, they track these down, and they bought them, and they were putting them in this product. So it's pretty cool. So ITG, although doesn't have the license, I do like some of their products that they do, and I do recommend Heroes and Prospects.
Definitely. Now, tell us a little about your PC. What would be the cornerstone card of your PC, and what are some of the guys that you've collected over the years? It's probably Habs players, I assume, but what's the biggest card in your PC?
Right now it changes every time I open up packs of cards, it seems. But right now, I still think my favorite one that I pulled is out of a box of Dominion from this year is a Patrick Waugh autograph card with jersey, and it was numbered to 25.
Wow. Probably a big multicolored patch, I would assume, too.
Actually, it's just a plain white patch from an old jersey from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of cool that it's not a huge giant patch, that it's just a nice little white piece to it. But to me, it's just one of my favorites because growing up, Patrick Waugh was one of my favorite go-to guys, and I got to see him win the Cup in '88 and then in '93 again. So it's not a high value card really, but it's a cool card of my collection. And my personal collection is a lot of Habs stuff. Yes, definitely, because that's my team. So I try and collect all of them, and unfortunately I took a break from card collecting, so there's a large gap that I'm trying to fill in and start collecting the cards from them and slowly getting there. But my real collection of stuff is actually hockey memorabilia. So
nice. Okay.
I've got hockey pucks that are signed from guys like Maurice Richard, Henry Richard, like guys back in the 50s and 60s, and then all the way up to Saku Koivu. I've got a Galchenyuk autograph puck now as well. So that's more where my collection has been being filled lately, is just buying the memorabilia. And now that I'm getting back into the cards, I'm trying to get back into it and see how many of the older guys I can start collecting again.
Definitely. We got to tweet us out some of those photos. Love to see that Patrick card and then some of those pucks. Definitely, like, tweet us out. I want to see it, and I've definitely, since we've been doing hockey breaks, I've been definitely getting more interested in hockey cards, and I just love how many different pieces of memorabilia they can use for hockey cards. There's a lot more color in the jersey and a lot more patches with logos and stuff. So it's really cool, and going forward, hopefully next year we're back on par with all the releases and we start getting, some newer stuff coming in. So, but
with next year with the double rookie class, they're all gonna be pushing pretty hard, and there's gonna be some great products out there.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a little similar to basketball, with the double rookie class that they're doing this year. So I'm definitely excited to see what these manufacturers do next year with stuff. So, man, I'd love to. Thanks for coming on the show. We're learning as we go as far as hockey breaks are concerned, and I think there needs to be info out there about hockey cards because it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, hockey, because it's been so polarized with, mainly in Canada, you get a lot of the heavy-duty collectors in Canada. It's been tougher getting that information flowing from the companies, but I think Panini's starting to push more and more in the States, and with the U.S. team starting to do better in the NHL itself and getting more fans involved in it, I think we're going to start seeing more and more information getting pushed out, and hopefully more collectors in the U.S. doing it.
Definitely. Well, people can follow you on Twitter at Wild Eagle. He's always tweeting out hockey knowledge and, hits and stuff like that. So definitely a good follow on Twitter. And, yeah, definitely. We'd like to thank you for coming on the show tonight, man.
No problem. If you guys have any questions, you can always tweet me, and I try and answer them as best as I can.
Yeah, Andrew's been very helpful on schooling us. Like when we had our classics break, he kind of helped us out on, what teams had hits and things like that. So very, very knowledgeable hockey fan. So, all right, man. Well, that ends our little hockey segment. Like I said, thanks again for coming on the show, and we'll be talking with you soon, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the little hockey segment. We don't talk about hockey enough, so there you go. Drop some knowledge on you guys on what products to buy. I know it's a shortened season, but I liked limited hockey. I thought limited hockey was a good break. Classics was a good break, and definitely SP Game Use was an awesome break as well. So there's some definitely good hockey products out there, even with the shortened season. So wanted to move into the next segment and talk about NT Baseball. It's coming out tomorrow. It looks pretty damn cool. I know there's everybody saying, hey, Panini doesn't have a license. But, some of the early pictures I see, I'm on Blowout here, and somebody got it earlier, which shame on you. But, hey, it does happen. But it looks like this guy did a case break, and, there is a absolutely beastly Stan Musial 4 of 5 booklet cut auto with a bat on one side that says Stan the Man. It's a little cutout, and then the Stan Musial auto on the other side. And it's just a well done, just got the vintage kind of look to it. Nice little photo of Stan the Man in the middle there. It just looks like a nice looking card. And then you scroll down, looking at some of these pictures, there's a Hoyt Wilhelm, 2-color little tag. Guy pulled a Shane Deist from Red Shane Deist Auto. Got a Matt Kemp booklet. The RPAs look pretty nasty. So I'm excited. MojoBreak.com, we got 2 cases of it tomorrow. Actually, 3 cases tomorrow. And there's one, 2 of them are sold out. There's one with some random spots available. So you can get it at a fraction of the box price and, maybe get one of these big hits. There's Cobb Knobs. I didn't even intend to rhyme there, but that happened. There's bat knobs of, you name it in the set. There's Bryce Harper, there's Trout. And they did a really good job of hiding logos. They've gotten some close-up photos of these guys with, expressions on their face. Look, Jimmy Rollins' photo looks like he's pissed off. They've done a really good job of kind of avoiding the logos. So, it's Panini's highest priced baseball product yet. So, we'll have to see how it does. But I think for a break product, it's a really good. I think people are going to be a little hesitant to buy boxes right away until they see more pictures because it is such a high price product. I mean, local card stores are probably going to be selling this stuff for $350, $400, $450 possibly. So it is a very large investment, but there is those $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 possibilities of some of the pulls that you can get in this stuff. So I mean, there's Jackie Robinson stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm looking at sportscardradio.com here, looking at your guys' checklist, and I mean, it's Ty Cobb. You know, the rookies that are in here. You got Brett Lowry, Bryce Harper, Mike Trout, Lombardozzi, Josh Rutledge, big kid from Colorado. You got Jamil Weeks, big RPA, Cespedes, Darvish. So anything that you'd want, Trevor Bauer, anything that you'd want, Matt Moore, Matt Harvey, anything you'd want in a Chrome product or a 5-star product. I mean, it's in here just without the license. I mean, what do you think about, you know, buying a non-licensed product?
Well, I think whatever floats your boat. They have some big names in there, and like you said, there are going to be some huge cards coming out of there. Some of these things might be left over from the Donruss days. So I think, you know, I wouldn't buy a box for $350, $400, or whatever they're selling for, but I might buy some single cards. I might buy into a break, you know, to try to hit something. So I think it's a good product. I think license or not, and a type of product like that, you almost don't need a license because most of the cards are covered with either an autograph or some kind of big, huge memorabilia piece. So you're only getting a little thumbnail of the player anyway. So I think the close-up kind of face shots work. Some of the pictures that I saw, I was like, you know, these cards look pretty nice, and it seems to work well for what they can do. And I think people are excited about it. I think the fact that you've sold out some cases of this stuff already and you've got, you know, a little bit more to go on a third, that seems to bode pretty well that people are jacked up about it and ready to bust some high-end baseball.
Well, I think it's great timing on their part because, you know, we've had Top Series 1 come out, and that's a set builder's set, and most of the time you're going to get low-end hits. So, you know, to release a product that's all about the hits right as spring training, you know, kind of everybody's getting spring fever, everybody's kind of loading up, getting ready for all the other stuff that's coming out. It kind of comes out smack right in the beginning. I think it's pretty good timing on their part to get it out there right now, you know, as opposed to in the middle of the season when you got your tributes, your museum, you know, all those other high-end sets that come out, you know, 5-star baseball. I mean, 5-star baseball just came out a couple months back, but I think it's pretty good timing on their part. And I think it's, and I'm not going to tout our own horn here or any breakers, but, you know, a case break spot does make sense because, like, for example, ours is $59 a spot. You get a team and a case. So literally, I mean, you can't even touch the stuff for under $300. So you're getting a chance at getting the Yankees, at getting the Cardinals, at getting the Giants, at getting the Angels for $59. So it's definitely a good product for a breaker. So. And a shameless plug, check out mojobreak.com, and you can get into one for tomorrow. So you can get it right on release day. But I think it's a great product for a break, and as long as it lives up to, you know, the checklist, I don't think it's going to be a bad product. I mean, some of their lower-end baseball products, like Limited that came out last year, yeah, you know, it's $80 price point. You're going to get prospects and stuff. Non-licensed products, it's a little rough, you know, prospects that are non-licensed, you know, there's mostly $3 to $5. You know, there is big hit possibilities in those sets. But it seems like they're adding more big names as they kind of get into this new license they got. You know, they had the MLBPA. I think they acquired the Hall of Fame. I mean, they don't have the MLBPA, but they acquired the Hall of Fame. They acquired another MLB license. So kind of starting to get all these names. I mean, they didn't have Trout or Harper before, and now you're starting to see them coming into some of these sets.
I think it's great. Yeah, I think it's good. And $400, you know, like I said, that's not going to be me. But, you know, hopefully, you know, there's probably going to be some duds, you know, with some of those rookies, some of those rated rookies I saw. I was like, that's not going to really work out for $400. But, you know, you hit a Jackie Robinson, you hit a Ty Cobb, you hit some of these big, huge cards. You're going to make out pretty well on it. So it's a gamble, as with everything. But I think the cards look nice. I'm excited to go through and look at the pictures and add some pictures to the checklist that I started today. I don't know when Panini released the checklist. I just found it this morning on I find it on Blowout or something. I don't even think Panini had it on their website yet, but it looked like a big, deep checklist and book cards and big memorabilia cards, low numbered. So it's going to be a fun set, and at the very least, check out some singles and see what the cards are selling for. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and there's guys that people PC. I mean, the secondary market's probably going to go really well on this stuff. But, you know, to be honest, the distributor said there wasn't a whole lot of pre-orders out there. I mean, NT football, I mean, we got allocated. I mean, there was just, you know, you order 5 cases, you're lucky to get 2. NT football is a staple.
Right.
Baseball, I think card shop owners or you know, are a little lenient or kind of playing a wait-and-see approach with it. So it's not like jumping off a distributor's shelves right now, but I think once some of these cards start coming out and, you know, baseball fever really sets in, I really do think that it's going to take off and it's going to do well.
I think if they had their license, yeah.
I
think if they had the license, it would be a different story with the pre-orders. But because it's unlicensed, it's a Panini thing. They might. You know, even at whatever $275 wholesale, I don't know what it is wholesale, but that's an expensive box, just one box to buy. Let alone if you're trying to. What is a 3-box case?
4-box.
4-box case. So you're looking at a grand at least probably for a case. So, I mean, that's a big investment for a hobby shop owner or anybody really.
And they're probably sitting there remembering, you know, Prime Cuts 2011, how it sat on the shelf. They're probably remembering Contenders Baseball sitting on the shelf. And they're probably like, oh, I'll buy a box or 2. I'll buy 1 box. And, you know, it's definitely, like I said, it's definitely kind of a better product to break because you're not going to – somebody's going to come in. They're probably more apt to buy some Elite baseball if they're going to buy a Panini product. It's a $90 box or $100 box, and you're going to get 6 autos. Yet, granted, it's prospects, but you're not invested. You know, who has? Not a whole lot of us have $400 to, you know, go on put on a box of cards. You know,
right.
But and then another release tomorrow, Top Supreme Football, and that's a one-hitter quitter. And you know, it's a one-hit product, but they boast that all the hits are going to be 99 or under. You got your big name rookies, obviously, so. That'll do well. I mean, it's already pretty allocated out there. Boxes have been going up. Looking at the checklist here, and you obviously got all the rookie premier guys, your Robert Griffins, you know, Andrew Luck, Justin Blackmon. All of those guys are well represented in here, and this is one of the first sets that Topps is putting in a lot more veterans. So they got Arian Foster, A.J. Green, Drew Brees, Jerry Rice, Roger Staubach autos, Phil Simms, Matt Stafford is the autograph retire and veteran checklist. This looks like it's just the initial checklist, so there probably will be more once it comes out. They also have autographed relics of Joe Montana, Jeremy Maclin, Joe Namath, you know, Rob Gronkowski, and then they have cut autos in the set as well. I think those are all 101s, but the cut autos, let me scroll down. It looks like they have some sweet-looking books. Yeah, Hall of Fame cut signatures, all numbered to 1. Otto Graham, Gale Sayers, Red Grange, Dick Night Train Lane, Dante Lavelli, Wellington Mara, the late, you know, just passed from the Giants, George Halas, Paul Brown. Paul Brown's pretty sought-after auto there. And, you know, so it looks like a pretty cool checklist. I mean, I think the last 10 or 11 Topps releases have been so focused on the rookies, so it's a nice break to actually have some veterans and some legends. And it looks like there's John Elway relics. I mean, so there's a good chance of getting in a case or in a break some good hits.
It seems like actually an interesting set. When I was kind of looking at it, I was like, you know what, this looks good. We got veterans. It's a kind of how much is a box? Like if you're buying a box of retail, like $80 or something? Because it's just the one hit, right?
I think it's between 85 and 100 initially.
Okay.
Last year actually didn't do that great, but the year before the boxes went all the way up to like 130, 140.
Was it the same configuration last year that you only got the one hit? Okay.
You only got the one hit. You get the I think it's like 3 or 4 base cards. Let me see here. It's product details. It's I think it's 4 cards per pack. And the rest of them are it looks like it's 4 total cards, 2 base cards, 1 parallel, and then the numbered autograph. It's a numbered autograph, relic, or autographed relic. I mean, the only bummer is that your main hit could just be a relic, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, if it's like a 3-color Andrew Luck, number to 10 relic, I mean that's cool. That's worth it. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're doing a 16-box case of it, and then we got another available for random. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out for sure. We'll have a review for you guys next week, but it looks pretty exciting. I mean, there hasn't been, we had Contenders, a couple weeks ago. That was kind of the last release, so we haven't really had a football product in a couple weeks. So, it's going to be a big day for the hobby tomorrow with these 2 products coming out. It's going to be pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that's great. I love it when products release on the same day, and it's really kind of exciting to check the eBay market, check what people are saying about it, and the reaction to it. So it should be fun tomorrow.
Definitely. Hey, Dan's in the building. What's up, Dan?
What's up? Sorry, guys. There's some crazy things going down in Santa Cruz today, so
yes.
Wasn't able
to.
Of
that, I think you should share your story about, or I can actually pre-log the story. Dan actually steps outside to talk on the radio show, and there was a gentleman, a working-class gentleman, that when Dan was outside on the phone, looked him straight in the eye, knuckled down, and let a number 2 go right in front of Dan, right outside the building.
Drop the deuce at like 4 o'clock right in the parking lot, just like clockwork. But, I mean, anybody who's familiar with Santa Cruz, California would not surprise you at all. That's just the way it is, man. There's it's kind of hood. It's a hood for a beach town. There's like a crazy manhunt going on right now. I guess there's like a shooting a couple blocks from my shop. And, it's a little nuts sometimes.
Wow, nice.
Nice? Not nice.
Yeah, come through with your bulletproof vest on right now. Just kidding. It's actually pretty
cool,
man. It's mostly hippie-ish out there, though.
Yeah, that's the preconceived notion of Santa Cruz, but it's actually there's a lot of gangs, and it's like I said, it's pretty hood. You gotta watch what you're doing. Yeah, I mean you think it would be like a fun-loving, peace and love hippie town, but it's quite the opposite actually.
Gotta come in with your piece tucked in your belt,
Yeah, something like that. But so that's what delayed me today. And I'm here. I heard you guys talking about Supreme. Pretty stoked on that.
Yeah, why don't you guys talk about it? I'm gonna quickly run outside real quick and make sure I have no bums outside. But if you guys want to talk about some Supreme and Antique at Dan's point of view, and I'll be back in a couple minutes here.
Yeah. What do you think about? What do you think about Supreme?
The NT, I saw some of the previews. I saw some of them before we went on last week, and it had those awesome patches. Man, the patches are insane. But I didn't look at the details. I guess it's a book card per pack.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool. Everybody loves book cards, man. Book cards are kind of like all the rage right now. So I'm pretty stoked. I can't wait to see it. I can get past the fact that it's not licensed stuff.
Right.
I mean, some people can't, but I can get past that. That's not that big of a deal for me. If it's a good-looking card, good-looking design, good-looking patch, and relatively holds its value, I'm into it.
And what about
as for Supreme, that's getting one hit a pack is a little risky for me.
Right.
I mean, I think it's going to be like $85 or something like that, or maybe $100. Those one hit products, I mean, it's a big risk. I mean, it's high risk, high reward, I guess. But that's pretty much that.
If you had to pick, what would you buy? Would you buy I guess several boxes of Supreme, or would you buy one box of National Treasures?
For value wise, I'd probably go one box of NT.
Yeah.
I think you have a better chance of getting about, my whole thing is that if you can get 40 to 50% back on your investment, I would say that's a pretty good value. It's the getting back like 10 to 15% on your investment that's rough.
That's never happened before.
No, never. I've never seen that happen.
I've never opened a $100 box and got a $3 auto.
Nope.
Percent.
I always open $100 boxes and get $1,000 autos.
Yeah, me too. Exactly. It's like betting on Rousey and betting on all those games over the weekend, right?
Yeah, I heard some details about that. I guess Carmouche or what's her name?
Yeah, I was struggling with the name too today. I kind of prefaced it by saying I think I'm saying her name
Carmouche?
wrong. Yeah, she almost won.
Carmouche?
She almost choked her out.
Yeah, I guess it was a pretty good fight at the first 35 seconds of it. You got to stay out of that arm bar or whatever the hell that is, or rear naked chokehold, or what are these moves? I don't know much about UFC, so I'm just kind of talking a bunch of smack right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, arm bar, is that what it's called?
Arm bar. Yep.
The devastating
move.
arm bar. That's the move.
That's the end all. You snap your arm off unless you tap out,
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
I wanted to talk about your eBay experience with your Crown Royale box.
Oh yeah.
When did you
actually,
share that?
the guy says he's gonna make right on it, but I bought a blaster Crown Royal, this year's Crown Royal blaster, retail blaster, and it had the Panini shrink wrap on it. Got it, opened up the pack, or opened up the box, pulled the packs out, and all the packs were opened. They were all like nicely opened right on the seam, right? And I'm all, oh, that sucks. So I just like flip one of them back, and I'm looking through it. It's got like Panini Threads, Panini Prestige is in there. There was not one Crown Royal card anywhere in any of the packs.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I contacted the guy, sent a picture, and I'm like, man, I don't know where you bought this at, but I'm pretty sure somebody took all the cards out of it and returned it. So obviously, I mean, somebody, like I was telling Doug, like somebody either was really, really careful with the shrink wrap, or they have their own way of doing the shrink wrap all over again. But I mean, I always thought the blasters were a pretty safe bet and protects you from like pack searching and all that stuff. But I guess the pack searchers have figured out how to get into the blaster.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't know how they would seal it back up, but we had this conversation off air. I wonder if this obviously probably happened at a retail Target, Walmart, whatnot, one of those places. And I wonder if when they take the box back, they put it in a section. They don't put it back on the floor or whatnot. And then maybe there's people like this guy that come in and buy, multiple blasters at $10 or whatnot.
I know Fry's Electronics. I know they do that. If you bring something back to Fry's, they throw like a demo sticker on it, and
they do that
it'll be like,
too.
Yeah, it'll be like
Target, yeah,
it'll be like $5 cheaper or $10 cheaper. So they probably do that at Target as well. It probably went into like this miscellaneous catch-all discount bin of stuff that's been returned, and this guy just swoops up the cards and sells them on eBay. Because I think I paid pretty much what retail price was on the box. I think it's a $20 box. I think I paid like $22 after shipping.
Yeah, because I see those blasters on there all the time, and I'm just like, how are these people even making money? Because they start them at like a $9.99 auction, and we all know that at Target it's $20, and I know we can't dealing with distributors. It's not like I can buy blasters. That's a whole separate ball game. That's I believe it's Beckett Marketing, and they're just Topps and Panini make this product for them, and they're not available to stores. They're only available to big retail stores. They mass produce the stuff, so it's I see a lot of these blasters, and I mean on a hot product like remember 2010 Bowman blasters went up to $35-$40, but people do this with every kind of blaster, and I'm wondering why they do it. I mean, what's the return on there? Why would they even waste the time of listing a blaster and selling it and making 50 cents or losing money? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
In my instance, I didn't really understand how every Crown Royal card had been taken out of the pack, and they loaded it up with prestige football and Threads basketball. The Crown Royal cards are no more valuable than the prestige cards. I don't know why. I mean, were they trying to build the set, I guess? I don't know. I mean, it was one thing to pack search, but they literally there was not one Crown Royal card in the whole blaster.
It must be a set builder or something. That's very strange. I mean, there's a lot of gimmicks in the store too. Have you guys ever seen those? It's like an auto. You're promised an auto, and it's $12, and you get an auto, and then a bunch of rehashed retail packs. So it'll be 2008 Upper Deck and 2010 Top Series 1, and then you'll get one envelope with an auto in it, and it's always it shows a picture of Mattingly on the front, but it's always just a guy, you pull the auto and you're I did it once and I got somebody that was awful. I'm this is just a scam. I mean, I guess if you're the one guy that gets the Mattingly, I mean, it's worth it, but it just doesn't seem like you're ever going to get anything good out of those.
Yeah, where do those hits come from?
I think there's a buyback companies that literally buy in bulk from Target and stuff, or Topps. I have no idea, but there's a lot of there's those $9.99 packs that have 10 packs in it. It's all miscellaneous baseball or miscellaneous football, and it's all just different packs. You could see them there for $10. I believe there's one company that literally just buys in bulk and then buys bulk autos, buys cheap autos, and then just makes this stuff. Probably run on a pretty high margin.
And then repackages. That's just repackage retail packs.
Yep, that's the name of the game. And they're probably making more money than anybody else out there. Probably killing it.
Maybe. I mean, they're probably getting those packs for pennies on the dollar. So you're right. Because I know some packs will end up at a dollar store, and I mean, you figure the dollar store is probably getting them for obviously less than $1. So
no,
they're buying them probably in bulk. No, they're buying them for $3, selling them for $1.
well, they'll have some hangers there, some gravity feeders there, and it's not even. It's worse than retail. It's a 5-card pack of Topps Series 1. Yeah. So it's specifically made for the dollar store, literally. Because I was looking at them the other day. I was pack searching the dollar store, and and it was
might want to ease up with saying that. We're going to believe you.
I know they're going to be he's talking about pack searchers. He's a pack searcher. I'm going to be on the forums now. No, I don't pack search, but yeah, it's a 5-card pack, or I think there was even a 3-card pack, and it's $1, and it's an affordable way for kids to collect. It's super cool, but it's they make a different kind of set for dollar stores. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But before we end the show, I wanted to kind of quickly go over, do a review on NBA Elite. Just came out last week. It was the only pretty much hobby product to release last week. I wanted to get your initial thoughts on it, Dan.
I thought it was a good, solid-looking set, actually. It looked like Elite, but it had those killer acetate. Some of them were on card or on plastic or on acetate, whatever you want to call them. But those things pop, man. I dig it. It's I think back in the day, if anybody remembers, the company was Classic, and they made a lot of college and minor league stuff.
Yeah.
I remember I remember collecting, and I remember pulling an acetate card. It wasn't autoed, but it was an acetate card. I remember going man, that's the coolest looking card ever. And they were so hard to get that I only had one. But yeah, it reminded me a lot of that, like that style, and I dig it. I don't know how the autos, especially the on-card autos, are going to hold up after time, if they're going to fade or if they're going to get smudged. I don't really know what the longevity is of them.
Yeah.
But I dig it. The stickers on it don't obviously look as good, but the on-card, we pulled a Anthony Davis on acetate, and they're pretty solid, man. I dig it. That was definitely my favorite part about the set. Other than that, it looked like, it reminded me a lot of like elite football, elite baseball, and all that stuff. And I always think it's I always think it's a good value for what you get. What is like 3 autos, one memorabilia?
Yeah, 3 autos, and it's like, I think it retails about $120 a box. You could probably get a pack
a lot of base cards, and the base design's always relatively clean. It has that foil look to it, and super shiny, and I dig it. I just thought the on acetate cards were definitely the gem of the product.
Yeah, I actually liked how they were bringing back color to their inserts. Like one of my biggest gripes with Panini over the years is that when you get a numbered card, it really doesn't look like a numbered card. It's like, oh, this is an insert. You turn it around, it's numbered to 100. Well, what they did with Elite is they actually brought back the color. You can really see while you're opening the pack. You can see the blue, you can see the red, you can see the gold coming out. So it's kind of like that Topps experience when you're opening like a Chrome or a Draft or any of those products where you see the color in the pack and you're like, got gold or, got red, so they're trying to kind of bring that back. And I thought those were pretty cool, a little added bonus into the hits. And you were getting 2 to 3 on box on average. And I think we got one numbered as low as 15. It was like a red. So
yeah,
they did really well. And those were normally die cuts. They were either cut on the bottom or cut at the top and just kind of popped as a card. So I haven't been a huge fan of a lot of the NBA products this year with Panini. I liked Prism was cool. I mean, it's pretty high priced now. Totally Certified was good. But I wasn't a huge fan of Contenders. Limited was okay. I didn't like Timeless Treasures, but I'm a fan of Elite. So I think Elite's a good product, a good value, and I would definitely buy some.
Yeah, I feel you. Are they going to be releasing the National Treasures for basketball, or do they just...
I think so. There hasn't been any rumblings on it yet, but they didn't do it last year, so they would have to do it. They're going to probably wait until almost the playoffs to probably announce it, and then it's probably going to come out after the playoffs. It's the last release of the year. So
yeah, and I thought, so. I mean, totally Certified is probably out of all the basketball products, unless you got into Prism really early at a really good price, probably the best value is out of Totally Certified. It's not a lot of base cards, but it is 6 hits. I mean, pretty good stuff, pretty good value for sure.
Well, and this is going to move right into the contest time. We got a break tomorrow, NBA break. 3 boxes of the aforementioned Elite, 1 box of Prism, 1 box of Totally Certified. And here's what you got to do to win. You got to call in. Let me get you guys the number. It is 1-800-GO-DOUG. No, I'm just kidding. It's 347-855-8815. And then go on sportscardradio.com and tell me, out of the 2012-2013 Donruss Elite, which is the number 1 Aspirations die cut and what the print run is, what the player name is and what the print run is for the Aspirations die cut series. The first person to call in wins a spot in that random break tomorrow. So,
nice.
Got to call in to win. And Dan, you can't win it.
I can't win?
No, you guys are ineligible.
It's basketball, right?
It is.
Oh, man, I've got it up right now. The Aspirations? Oh, man. Well, somebody could probably guess it without even going to the page.
Probably, yeah. Once again, that number is 347-855-8815. Yeah, I think it is, it's like McDonald's and Monopoly. I think we had this conversation earlier that, if you're part of a company, you shouldn't be part of the winnings, There's some companies out there that don't follow that, but,
Oh, I feel you.
We like to follow those rules around here, so.
Good,
Looks like we got
good
a
rule
caller.
to follow.
We got a caller, 402. We're going to bring 402 on the air. What's up, 402?
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ryan.
Ryan, what's up, man? How you doing?
Not bad, man. I won last time, so I'm not sure I'm up for it this time.
Well, until we change those rules.
No, he gets it.
And props to those who stay loyal and keep listening. So what's your aspirations, die cuts, player, and print run?
It's Kyrie Irving, and it's of 98.
Actually we're looking for, well, that you are correct. But I was actually looking at the Kobe Bryant number to 76. So it was probably that's probably the base, and probably the auto version is Kyrie. So you called and you won anyway. So
that's cool.
Yep, got you a spot tomorrow, and that'll probably, I think we've got it posted on the site, but just stay tuned tomorrow. Jump on our live feed and see what team you get, and hopefully we pull you something big.
Awesome, man. I'll be there for sure. Thanks again.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
Great
Thanks for
show,
calling in. All right,
okay, man.
Thanks. Yep,
bye.
Take care. Somebody's got to call in. B. Ryan, he's winning every week.
Did you guys talk about NASCAR at all?
We did. We talked a little Danica. We talked about 50
All right.
Cent. How 50 Cent was. There's a pretty funny little video out there of 50 Cent leaning. He runs up to Erin Andrews and he leans in to kiss her cheek, and she turns away. It's pretty funny.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that.
Yeah. I know you're just a huge NASCAR guy. Well, what you got to say about NASCAR? Jimmy Johnson, huh?
I'm not a huge NASCAR guy at all. I just figured it was a hot topic. Everybody's talking about it, so you guys probably.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly, but I'm unfortunately don't watch a lot of NASCAR myself, so we didn't divulge into any of the statistics of the NASCAR event. But I know that Jimmy Johnson won.
Nice.
The Cowboy.
I should have bet on Jimmy Johnson while I was at Reno, man.
I know, he was
throwing the bones. Doug's got a new game. He's hooked on craps now.
That's pretty fun, man. I liked it.
Craps is a good game.
It's pretty fun, man. Have you ever played craps, Ryan?
No, I try to stay away from anything where I could lose large sums of money very quickly.
Nah, man. When Doug's rolling, Doug doesn't win, but he wins for me. So I'm like, dude, keep on rolling, Doug.
Baby. Woo! Golden hour. Let's play in Vegas. We'll just go down there and just act like we're ballers and shit at the Orleans.
Yeah, Doug's a lefty, so the casino doesn't know how to handle that. But what the hell is going on?
I see.
Wow. Dan had his money on 6, and I swear to God, I rolled like 6 6s.
It was pretty awesome.
Just kept paying him out. And I just kept rolling a 6. And then I think by the end, I think everybody at the table had their money on 6.
Pretty much.
By the time my roll was done, I haven't played craps too much. I was still trying to soak it in, but you put your money on certain numbers. You do the pass line, the come line, stuff like that, and you basically leave your money stays there until a 7 or 11 or the numbers rolled, right? So
yeah.
I just kept going, and I think I went like 15 rolls, and I didn't throw the number that you lose with, and just Dan was getting paid. I was losing money, but Dan was getting paid.
It's actually surprising. It's one of those games that, your money could actually stretch a decent amount of time. I mean, just like anything else, you could lose right away too. But it's actually pretty fun. We should definitely hit up a craps table one in Vegas. We'll see if we can get a little lucky.
Yeah, it was like 40. I think I spent $40. I lost $40, but I was there like an hour. So I mean, put 40 in a slot machine, you can be done in 30 seconds. I mean, so I stretched my money out. So, but we'll definitely have to do that in Vegas. Ryan says he's going to be in the at Vegas. Maybe he'll try it out. Maybe we can get a group of us all on one craps table. So yeah, blackjack is fun. Blackjack's fun, Andrew. Jayhawk says craps is the best. So yeah, the odds are probably one of the best on craps though. So I do have to agree there.
I think blackjack actually has the best odds if you're going heads up against the dealer. But man, if you get into a cold deck, man, you're gonna be done pretty fast.
Yeah,
those they deal really fast. especially if it's heads up. They're like, slow it down a little bit.
I try to stay away from the heads up. Money just goes so quick, and then you double down, and you just you have to double down on 10. If the dealer's showing 6 and under, and then somehow they just pull off that magic 21 just every time. You're sitting there you double down on 10, you get a 10, so you got 20, but you got the 21. Pulled it out.
Every time I start talking about Vegas, I think of the movie Vegas Vacation, man, and that casino that Chevy Chase goes to. And it's they have like all the funky games, like Guess What Number I'm Thinking Of, and War, and all that stuff. Rochambeau. That's a casino I want to go to.
Oh, was it? Guess What Number's behind my back? 5. No, 6.
Pretty much. Guess what number I'm thinking of.
Well, you guys have been watching the Combine a little bit. I know I've seen big hype for Manti Te'o. I mean, watching dudes just running a straight line is not super exciting, but it's the only thing that we got going for football right now. Anybody that you've seen there kind of blew you guys away, or anything that you saw that's as far as coming out from the Combine?
A couple of the defensive players looked nice, or like they had been taking their share of supplements, and their arms were looking huge and everything. So I don't know. I kind of like watching it a little bit, just seeing guys. There's a lot of defensive heavy players. Some of the receivers ran pretty well. The guy, now I can't remember his name, Tavon Austin or something like that, who ran really well, and it might be a first-round pick and stuff, or should be a first-round pick. So, and some of the quarterbacks, I think it'll be a really interesting year, and I think it could be good for football collectors because I don't think we're going to see these guys like heavily limited in terms of their autographs. Probably maybe like a Matt Barkley or a Geno Smith or somebody like that may not have that many autographs. But some of these 3rd, 4th, 5th round wide receivers, running backs, they're going to sign a lot because they need some money. They don't get paid right away. They get loans from their agents and stuff to go to this Combine and stuff. This isn't free to go to this. So it'll be really interesting. I'm excited about it. The Combine itself is not that exciting, but it starts to get you in the process of listening or getting ready for the draft. And one of the podcasts I listen to, Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, ESPN Pod Center, they do a first draft podcast, and they just kind of, for 45 minutes every week, they just kind of go through top to bottom all kinds of guys from the 5th, 6th round picks and stuff. So that's a really good podcast that they only do during kind of the lead up to the NFL draft. So it's good stuff. It's exciting. I think it's fun. Kind of keep thinking about football even during the off season.
Yeah, the guys who do the bench press are insane, man. Guys are like putting up 250 like 30 times. I'm all, man, I can get down there. I might be able to put up maybe a Hunsky once. One time.
I can do the bar. I can do the bar myself. I can do the 45.
The bar, that's where I'm at.
10 times. I do 20 sit-ups a night. Actually, I sit up to go to the fridge. I sit up to go to the bathroom.
Nice.
That's me. Sit up to get another beer.
Yeah, a lot of those. I mean, that's insane, man. 30 reps of 250, man. That's nuts. I think it's gonna be a strong draft class. It's gonna be a lot of defensive guys, but it's gonna be a lot of defensive guys who are gonna make like an instant impact.
I think so too.
And I guess they're talking. There's that lineman that Kansas City's probably gonna take first. I can't think of his name right now, but so there's gonna definitely be some linemen who are gonna go in the first round.
And he's gonna protect Alex Smith. So he's
gonna protect A. Smith, man.
That's the rumor that that's where he's going. He's actually they're in talks right now supposedly, but nothing's signed. They
can't announce it until like the 13th of March or something like that. So, but I guess the rumblings are it's going to be Kansas City, and they're thinking like it's going to be somewhere in like a 3rd round pick. So
all right, we'll take it. And then I think Matt Flynn. They say once Alex Smith goes, then somebody's going to try to get Matt Flynn after that. So.
Dude, Matt Flynn could be a sleeper, man. That guy, like, he didn't have a chance in Seattle.
I know.
Kind of big contract. So, I mean, if I was Kansas City, I'd probably be looking more at, Matt Flynn over Alex Smith. But, it's
Me
because
too.
That living in the Bay Area, we've seen like 7 or 8 years of Alex Smith. We kind of know what to expect, and especially if he's on a team that doesn't have a lot of weapons, we really know what to expect.
Right.
Yeah. It's kind of like everybody's blinded by the stats, and everybody's like, "Oh man, he had 103 quarterback." I mean, Kansas City fans, God, he's going to be so much better than Matt Castle, and they're just going to be like, "He's Matt Castle again."
I would strongly consider staying with Matt Castle.
Yeah,
the thing is that with teams that struggle like that, it's like the quarterback and the head coach who get the brunt of like the blame.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of other guys out there that aren't doing their job, so you can't just put it on one guy. I mean, like I always said, you put Tom Brady on a real bad team, that team's still going to be real bad.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not going to be Tom Brady. He's going to be a quarterback on a real crappy team putting up 2 wins in a season. But
Definitely.
you got to have the playmakers around you to succeed, and you got to have an offensive line. So we'll see how it goes. Alex Smith he's not going to be a Niner next year. I think that's pretty obvious.
And I think Niner fans are okay with that, so we're good. I mean, we'd love to have him as a backup, but obviously he's not going to be a backup.
A $9 million backup to Kaepernick's like $780,000 he's making.
Ooh, that's lopsided. Well, I think that pretty much ends out the show for tonight. I mean, we fit a lot of stuff in. We talked hockey, we talked National Treasures, Supreme, Elite. We talked Tops customer service. So man, it was a good little show. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. I'd like to thank Wild Eagle Andrew. Follow him on Twitter @Wild Eagle for calling in and dropping the hockey knowledge on us. So we'll have to have him come back, do some more updates as the season goes along, and talk about some of the other sets that are coming out and such. So, yeah, for sure. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Follow us @Card Radio Live. Make sure you check out sportscardradio.com. If you want to see an NT checklist on what's coming out, check out sportscardradio.com, and they have the checklist up for not only Supreme, they have it for National Treasures. So you can see all the hits that are in those different sets. And then if you want to get into a break, check out mojobreak.com. We got Supreme tomorrow. We got 3 cases of National Treasures tomorrow. We got some Elite basketball. So it's going to be a full day of 6 breaks tomorrow live on Blog TV. So if you want to get any of those breaks, check out mojobreak.com and use the code MOJOBREAK to save you 10%. So 10% off, collect and save. And listen in every week. We're going to give out free break spots. Ryan's been winning. So call in, see if you can give him some competition. So that's pretty much it, guys. And everybody take care. Have a good night.
Later.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Sports Card Live, sponsored by SportsCardRadio.com, MojoBreak.com. Check us out every Tuesday live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 Eastern, or download us on iTunes.